Alright, so today I'm back with another Blue Lock leak video, and today we will go over chapter 289. Now, some of you might be confused, as in my last video, I said that it was chapter 289. However, I got it confused, and my video before was actually Blue Lock, chapter 288, part 2, but this is the true chapter 289. Anyway, this chapter has to be the most insane and mind-blowing this entire year, as we got to see Kaiser and Isagi working together to almost score an insane goal. But in the last minute, Rin came and stopped it with an insane new power boost. But I don't want to say too much, so you will just have to sit back and watch to find out what happens. Anyway, before jumping into it, please leave a like and a comment, as well as join the Discord server down in the comments. Before diving into it, I want to say that, like always, if you want to check out the leaks for yourself, then I will put a link down in the comments where you can look at them. Anyway, now let's get into it. So for the real chapter 289, the beginning text says, "Words that pierce Ness frozen in place. Those without pride are unnecessary in this field." We then see both Isagi and Kaiser looking extremely mean, while a puzzle piece with Ness's face snaps in half. After that, Kaiser decides to speak up as he looks at Ness, and once again tells him to just quit football, as he isn't worthy after his last play. Ness looks shocked all the way to his core, as he can't really manage to form a full sentence. He starts to look down at the ground, and clenches his fists, while finally saying no, saying that he hates it, and that Ness is here for one reason only, which is to make Kaiser the best in the world. Kaiser turns around, and the wind makes it so his hair starts to sway, while asking Ness if he doesn't feel anything in this place. Ness is confused, and just says, "Huh." We then see different panels of Rin, Kaiser, and Igarashi, which is followed up with Kaiser saying that this is a clash of egos, where they stake their lives on it, and it's not only that. This heat is not a place for losers who live for someone else. He then gets closer to Ness as he is saying this. Actually, he kind of gets right up to his face as he continues, and says that pigs without their own should disappear, and that any talent that can't stand on its own is garbage. Kaiser has a terrifying facial expression on his face as he says this. The background around Ness then goes dark, as he tries to get out another argument but can't really do it. He then looks up with big puppy eyes and looks at Kaiser and says that other than making Kaiser the best in the world, there isn't any reason for playing soccer, is there? Kind of asking Kaiser to tell him. We then see Kaiser, who takes a long and deep breath before saying that it's not something they can understand through conversation. He ensures Ness that he isn't angry towards him, but that ultimately, deep down, he just can't accept human emotions. He then once again turns around and starts to walk towards Isagi, while telling Ness that for the revolution of soccer between himself and Ness, there's no need for a thoughtless conservative pig like Ness. Ness's face goes blank as Kaiser says this, and he is left speechless. We then see Isagi, who is eyeing Ness down. He thinks to himself that Ness, in this environment that is accelerating and constantly changing, is a person who falls behind. We see a panel of Raichi, Karasu, and Charles, as Isagi continues and says that nobody expects anything from him anymore, and that if Kaiser isn't there, he can't shine. Isagi's eyes then start to look pretty weird and kind of new. It's like in the form of a chessboard, as he calls Ness a dying talent. After that, we leave Isagi and instead visit his rival Rin, who is also thinking deeply. He thinks that the situation is dire and that he wants to destroy everything, and yet that action will be exploited for a counterattack. He looks down at his hand and says that he needs something that can surpass even that. He starts to think back to his broken toys from his childhood and says that a destructive breakthrough is necessary. After that, he sticks his tongue out and says, "Damn it," and that he has to find another way to break through. We get a close-up of his eye, where we see him looking closely at Isagi, while saying that right now, in this battlefield with unfairness, he'll make himself feel even better, and he ends it with saying that he will destroy the entire world, basically just being his emo self again. Hey, it's Natsu, mid-editing here, and I just wanted to pause the video to ask you to subscribe if you haven't already, and while you're already down there, why not leave a like as well? Anyway, moving on, we see Kiora on the sidelines throwing in the ball back into the game. He throws it to Isagi, who right away passes it to Kaiser, who traps it with no problem at all. As Kaiser has the ball, Isagi tries to run up to get himself into position, but then Rin comes in front of him with a menacing aura behind him. Isagi is a bit shocked by this, and says that Rin didn't just steal it from him head on, but instead he stepped back and changed his approach to man-marking. He looks very annoyed while wondering if Rin is trying to stick close and block Kaiser's passing course, and by doing that, he's finally using his head in a realistically way to stop Isagi. But when he does this, it creates a bit often problem for bastard MUNCHEN, as the play centered around the pass to Isagi, designed by Kaiser, is narrowing down the available options. We then see the puzzle pieces back in action, and we see that the puzzle pieces that Isagi is standing on is slowly separating themselves from Kaiser's due to Rin's play. Kaiser still has the ball, and Zantetsu says that it's time to go for it. Nanase agrees, and says that the pressing against Kaiser begins now. We then see a small panel of Kaiser looking extremely annoyed and saying that, with the ball flow paused, PXG will target Kaiser even more easily. Zantetsu goes close to Kaiser, and now I mean extremely close. It looks like they are doing something more than just playing football. But then Kiora comes and ruins their romantic time and tells Kaiser that he can use him as he is free. Raichi also comes by, telling Kaiser to leave the support to them. Kaiser looks around and says that his allies are also starting to understand and be useful to him. But then the trouble crow, Karasu, comes into the picture as we see him dashing up on the field and ensures them that he won't let this happen. Kaiser is now completely surrounded and says that it's way too crowded to do anything, even going as far as saying that the world isolates itself. We then go back to Isagi, who, as Kaiser said, has isolated himself from Kaiser thanks to Rin guarding him closely. Isagi knows that this is PXG's plan and says that it's a strategy to completely shut him down. But we then see a small panel of his eyes and his meta vision starting to get active, and in the next panel, we see Isagi start to sprinting like crazy on the field, even catching Rin off guard. Isagi thinks to himself and asks himself what's wrong. He knows that he has to analyze this divided situation and to start redesigning in the shortest and most optimal way and aim for the goal. Kaiser sees Isagi's play and is shocked, but says that this is the way, saying that no matter what situation they are in, they will become the ultimate tool for the goals. Isagi is starting to get free and escape from Rin. He knows that Kaiser can feel him and says that he just needs to get past Rin and break through to the optimal spot in front of the goal. While trying his best to avoid Nanase and Zantetsu, Kaiser says that right now in this crowd, both enemies and allies are only watching him, and because of that, he knows that the path can be created in a single impact kick. And the next panel is completely insane, because it's exactly what Kaiser does, as he shoots a wild Kaiser Impact Magnus Cross towards Isagi, awakening a whole new weapon. Everyone is in total awe by this, and Karasu is left wondering if this is even possible. Nanase is just as clueless as he has never seen a Kaiser Impact pass before. But we then see Isagi, who goes into Rin's blind spot, and starts going into his god mode, as he always does when the situation gets insane. Isagi looks closely at the ball as he says that this is perfect, and that this is just the new design that they needed. But we also see Rin's eyes, and while we see that he says that this is it, in the next panel we see what he means, as he was able to just in time block the cross from ever reaching Isagi as he took his leg out to block it instead, which is completely insane. His rage aura is all out, and he says that he wanted to destroy this relationship. Isagi is left in awe, thinking that there's no way that he actually read this. Kaiser is just like Isagi, and can't believe that Rin just stopped his and Isagi's new design. After that, we see Rin being completely absorbed by his rage aura. It's like it's eating him, and Isagi just wonders what is happening with him. Rin, however, says that he's found a new toy, and as he says that, we get a close-up of his eyes, and I don't want to make unclear predictions, but it very well looks like he's just acquired predator eyes, which, combined with Rin, is going to be completely nuts. Isagi is still looking at him, but looks terrified at this point as he says that, at the very last moment, a genius undergoes a sudden mutation. And then the text at the bottom says, "Genius is a fascinating and unexpected explosion." Now, this is just completely insane if you ask me. But anyway, for some extremely good news, I can tell you guys that there will be no break next week, and Blue Lock will continue like usual, with the next week's chapter being called Blue Bad Boy, which I would assume they are talking about Rin, because firstly, he's often associated with the color blue, but also because he's gotten this insane new power-up. Like, I don't even know what they will do to stop him now. Giving Rin predator eyes will change his entire offensive attacking power, and I can't wait to see him go crazy with it. Anyway, if you like Blue Lock and videos like this, then I would highly suggest you subscribe to this channel, and while you are at it, leave a comment and a like, as it helps out with the algorithm a ton. And if you are curious to see another video of mine, then please watch the video that will be popping up on the screen now. Anyway, thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye.